So, good morning, students. Let us start with the methods of heat transfer. So, one we have studied, that is conduction, and second one is convection. So, today's session, let us go for convection. So, what is this convection process, right? So, as you all know that in earlier classes we have studied water is a poor conductor of heat. So transfer of heat in water by conduction is not possible, and conduction process takes place in solid material, and this convection process requires medium. Okay, here we are going to see two medium, that is one is water medium and air medium. So then how heat transfers in water or in air? Do you know about that? Yes. So about this convection process, we are going to study in this method. So here, in liquids and gases, heat transfer can take place by the process of convection. And here, the transfer of energy in liquid or gases will take place, and when part of gas or a liquid is heated, the particles is made up of move faster and spread out more. The moving particles bump into other particles, causing them to move faster and spread out more. So what it means? So you can understand this by an activity. I'll show you one activity based on convection. So convection is a process by which heat is transferred in liquids and gases from the hotter part to colder part. So convection process takes place mainly in water and air medium, in the presence of water or in air medium. So in order to understand this convection process, I'll show you one activity based on this method. So take some water in a round bottom flask, keep it on a tripod stand, put a crystal of potassium permanganate in it, heat it with a burner. The water at the bottom becomes hot and rises up, and cold water from top moves down. This water becomes hot and rises up, and the cold water from top moves down, and process continues till all water gets heated. This shows that heat is transferred by convection. So what this activity says is, here I am taking round bottom flask. This we call it as a round bottom flask. So in this I am just pouring water. How much you want, you can take that much amount of water. Okay, and again here I'll put some potassium permanganate crystal. Okay, here I am going to add potassium permanganate crystal, and in that I'll start the burner, and when I start this burner, heat will be passing so that it reaches the bottom of this flask, so that the heat will be transferred to this water. Now how can you say that this convection process is taking place in this water? So in order to understand that, I have used crystals of potassium permanganate. So as you go on heating this water, the water molecule which is there at the bottom of this flask, that will get heated first. Then afterwards, that water molecule become less denser, so that it will raise up, right? So that raising you can see with the help of this potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate are the colored crystal in violet or pink color. That permanganate molecules will start raising up by taking that water molecules with them. And next, the surface of water which is cold, these are high dense, so that it will come and settle at the bottom, and again that water molecule will be get heated and they become less dense, again they will rise up. So this process will go on continuing till that water will get heated overall. So what it means is, in convection process, heat is transferring, so that the water molecule which is there at the bottom of this flask, they will become less dense, so that they will rise up, and the water molecule or the water which is present at the surface, they are high denser, so that they'll be moving downwards. So this process will be circulating till the water is get heated fully. So here this movement will be circulating in hot and cold water. So that is called as convection current. So this result in heating of entire volume water in a beaker. So let me explain you once again. Here I have taken a flask which is containing normal cold water. Okay. So in that I'll add, yes. So here this activity shows that how convection process takes place. So you will see the colored stream of potassium permanganate that reaches the top surface of that water, and then the water which is there at the surface, it will come down because it is high dense. So after some times the crystals of potassium permanganate completely dissolved in this water. So by this process you can easily understand that this convection process is uh, taking place in the presence of water and air medium. That means there is a movement of molecules. When there is a movement of molecules in this water or air medium, it shows that it makes water or air molecules to heats up. So in this way heat can be transferred in water and air medium, right? So this above activity whatever we have studied, it is the heat transfer from bottom of the surface of this vessel to the top of this vessel. That movement of water molecule is completely known as convection process. Okay, and this method especially takes place, or the heat transfer takes place in heat liquids and gases, because this water or the liquid have molecules and they are less densely packed and they can free to move. So this is what the convection process. Next one, here you can see how convection process takes place in air also. As you all know that air is also containing molecules, air molecules. So the air near the heat source get heated and rises up. The air from the side move to take its place. In this way, air gets heated if you keep one hand above the flame and other hand on the side of the flame. The hand at the top feels hot because the air above heated by the convection. The hand at the side does not feel as hot because there is no convection. So what it means, here the fire is there. One hand you keep it above this fire and one hand you keep it side of this fire. So the hand which is at the above the fire, you feel hot, you feel warmth, because the air molecule which is there here at the top of fire, they will be get heated and they become less dense and they reaches your hand. So that the air molecules which they are touching your hand, you feel warmth, and the hand which you are keeping side of this fire, you will feel cold only, because here the convection process is not taking place. That means the air molecules are not get heated, right? So the air molecule which is there here surrounding this fire, they will be get heated and they'll move up, and the particle or the molecule which is there at the upside, they'll come down. So in this way the air molecules will also get heated, so that when you hold it on the fire, the hand which you are holding on the fire, you'll be feeling hot, right? So this is what the convection process. And this convection process also you are able to see near the coastal areas. sea breezes and land breeze. So what is this sea and land breeze? Let us see first sea breeze. Okay. So now, what is this sea breeze? So during the day, land gets heated faster than the sea. So air moves, land gets heated, becomes hotter and rises up. And the cool air from the sea moves towards the land. This is called sea breeze. So here you can see the picture of land breeze. Here the land area, and this is what? The sea area. During daytime, this land air becomes heated up and they become less dense. So they go on moving towards the seaside, and the cool air which is present here on the seaside, they are high dense and they'll move towards this land. And again that cool air will become hot and again they'll move towards the sea. So in this way these process will be going on during daytime. So the flow of cool air becomes from sea towards the land. So this is called what? Sea breeze. Sea breeze is nothing but the cool air from the sea towards the land, it is moving. And what happens during night time? Here you can see the night time, right? During night time, the air which is there on the top of sea, it will be warm. And the air which is there on the land, it will be cool. And the warm air, it will start moving towards the land, and the land air, it will start moving towards the sea. So again here also the process will be continuing during night time. This is called land breeze because the land air is cooler. It is moving towards the sea, and the sea air or the warm air, it is warm and that will be moving towards land. So that is why these are called land breeze, and land breeze will happens during the night time and the sea breeze will happen during the daytime. So this convection process can be easily felt in the coastal area. So once again I'll explain what it means, sea breeze and land breeze. So here first picture whatever you are seeing, this one is sea breeze. So during daytime land gets heated, this land gets heated and air moves and air above it get warm. The air which is there here, it will be get warm. So this warm air expands, it becomes less dense and move upwards. And meanwhile, the water takes longer time to heat up. So the air above the sea remains relatively cool. Here the air above the sea is cool. And this cool air above the sea surface move towards the land to fill space emptied by the warmth air. So this cool air, it will be moving towards the land. And this flow of cool air from the sea towards the land is called sea breeze. Here you can see how it is circulating throughout the day. Next, the land breeze. So during night time, the land gets cool very quickly and the sea air, it is having warm air, and here sea takes more time to cool and remains hot. So air above the land, it is cooler than the air above the sea. The warm air above the sea surfaces, it rises up, and the cool air above the land, it moves down. Down in a sense, it moves towards the sea to fill the emptied space by the warmth air. So this flow of air from the land towards the sea is called land breeze. So this is how the breeze are taking place or the happening in the coastal areas. So next one, Sea and land breeze, again the picture you can see here. So during daytime, sea breeze move towards the land and land breeze they move towards the sea. And during night time, the sea breeze, the sea air, it moves up and fill the empty space in the land, and land breeze move towards the sea. So this is how the circulation is taking place in the coastal areas. Yes. So sea breeze, air moves from the sea during the day. Air moves from the sea during the daytime. And here it becomes hot or the warm, and again it rises up and again descending the cool air. This is what the sea breeze. Now what happens in land breeze? Same, but it takes place during the night time, exactly opposite to sea breeze. Here air moves from the land at the night. Here air moves from the land during the night time, and it comes in the sea at the top and it becomes hot, again it moves towards the land. Yes, this is what everything about sea breeze and land breeze. Here we have some applications of convection. So what those applications are? Here in convection, air conditioners are installed near the ceiling of room because they release cool dry air into a room. As cool air is denser, it sinks while the warm air present in a room. So being less dense and rises, this process continues and result in an effective cooling of the room. So in air conditioner also this convection process is working. And even one more application is exhaust fans. They are fitted near the ceiling of kitchens. You all have seen that, right? So they ensure the escape of hot air and gases rises up. So one more is rising air over the land are used by the gliders pilots to keep their gliders in the sky. So this is what the second method of heat transfer. Next we will move to radiation. So radiation is also the third method of heat transfer. So radiation is a process by which heat is transferred from one place to another without the help of any medium. So as you all know that in earlier we have studied in convection process, mediums are required to transfer of heat. That mediums are nothing but water and air. So with the help of water and air molecules, heat can be transferred from one place to another. But in radiation, heat can be transferred, but there is no requirement of any medium. For example, the heat from the sun reaches to earth by radiation. So this is what the sun, it emits electromagnetic waves. That means it is releasing some heat energy which will be directly reaching towards the sun without any medium. So even when you sit in front of the fire and you feel warmth there, because this heat or the fire, it is radiating heat by the fire. So whatever the bodies, the hot bodies, for example sun or the fire, these all radiates heat, and in radiation process there is no requirement of any medium. It is directly what? Emitting, or it is radiating heat. And that radiation, when you touch or when you feel, you will feel what? Hot or warmth. So in radiation process there is the emission or the release of what? Electromagnetic waves. So the energy in this method, heat is traveling from electromagnetic waves. These are what? Electromagnetic waves. So this mode of heat does not require any medium like water and air. So the energy transferred in this process, we call it as a radiant energy. So this process can take place in water as well as in air also, since electromagnetic waves travel with the speed of light. And here one more important thing you should all remember, that when radiant energy falls on any object, it is partially absorbed and partially reflected. And the amount of heat which is absorbed or radiated depends on the nature and the amount of color of that object. If the color of that object is dark, then it is a good absorber. If the color of that object is light, then it is a poor absorber of heat. For that, we have one activity based on this radiation. Before that, here you can see heat from the sun. You can feel heat, you can feel the sun warm when your skin on the sunny day. This is because energy causes particles in your skin to move faster, is equal to more heat energy. So when heat is getting radiated from the sun, you feel hot because the particles in your skin move very faster. When there is a movement of molecular particles in your skin is faster, that means there is a more amount of heat absorbed by your skin. And one more thing I told, that dark colored surfaces and colored surfaces. So what it means, dark colored surfaces absorb more heat than the light colored surfaces. So in order to understand that, here we will take one activity. Okay, so here in order to understand this radiation, we will perform one activity. For this, take two tin cans of the same size, paint outer surface of one black and other white. Pour equal amounts of water in each, leave them in a sunlight for about 1 hour. Measure the temperature of water in both cans. The water of the black can warm than the water in a white can. So here I have taken two water cans, and fill that two cans by the water. You can take same size of water, same amount of the water. And one can I have painted by the black color. The outer surface it is colored by the black color, and one more the can which is painted by the white color. So one can is of dark color and one can is of light in color. Both the cans you keep it in sunlight, and after 1 hour you just check the temperature of both the water with the help of thermometer. Here you can place thermometer, and even here also you can place thermometer. Here the temperature will raise, right? Here the water will be heated very fast and even more also. But here in white can, the water is less heated. This means the darker objects, they absorb heat more as compared to the lighter object. This is what the property of dark color surface and light color surface in absorption of heat. Even dark color surface radiates more heat than the light color surface. For this also, here you can see one activity. Take two tin cans of the same size. Paint outer surface of one black and other white. Pour equal amounts of hot water, same temperature 60 degrees Celsius. Leave them in a room and shade for 10 to 15 minutes. Measure the temperature of water in both cans. The water in black is cooler than water in a white can. So here, this is also one more activity where we are taking the same cans with the same equal amount of water. These two cans, again you keep it in a room where it is having cold place, or you can say place in a shade. And here what you observe is after 10 to 15 minutes, the water in this black, it is cooler. That means it is radiating energy, heat energy than the white colored can. So what you understand is the darker object, they absorb more heat and even they radiate, they release more heat as compared to the white colored surface. Okay. So next one is kinds of clothes we wear in a summer and winter. So depending on this heat transfer, the radiation, these clothes in summer and winter season are made. So dark colored surface absorb more heat than the light colored surface, as you all know that we have studied in this previous activity. So dark colored surface radiates more heat than the light colored surface. We wear dark colored clothes in a winter because it absorbs more heat and keep us warm. And we wear light colored clothes in a summer because it reflects more heat and keeps us cool. We wear woolen clothes in winter because wool is poor conductor of heat and air in between wool fiber prevent loss of heat from our body. So we feel warm. So this is what some applications of clothes in summer and winter season. So finally we have completed methods of heat transfer, that is conduction, convection and radiation. So conduction that takes place mainly in solid, convection it takes place in a medium, that is water and air, and radiation it is nothing but the waves which are radiated or which are emitted from the hot bodies. So next one we will study in next class.